Good afternoon, students. Today we are going to discuss with a chapter the questions on the chapter digestion as well as the respiration. So, in your first PUC, you have been studied the mechanism of digestion and respiration under different concepts. Right? Today I have merged these two chapters. We'll just have a brief discussion of that and we'll discuss with the questions based on that. So here, digestion chapter is studied under the digestion of the food substance and its assimilation. Respiration is studied under breathing and exchange of gas chapter. So here there is a little bit connection between the digestion and respiration. What is that connection is after the digestion of the food material, whatever the glucose is obtained, that glucose has to be broken down in order to release energy. For that, there is a requirement of the oxygen. Therefore, I have merged the chapters. Okay. Let's have just a brief discussion of that. We can't go in depth in detail regarding to the synopsis. Already it's known to you people. We can just have a conversation on that. So digestion is the process of breaking down of complex food material into simpler food material is referred to as digestion. For that we require digestive system. The digestive system is classified into alimentary canal as well as digestive glands. Okay, alimentary canal. This alimentary canal, it includes the oral cavity continues as pharynx. Pharynx continues as esophagus, then it continues as stomach, then intestine, rectum, anus. Like this, we have a different parts of the digestive system. When we come to the digestive glands, the digestive glands includes salivary gland, digestive gland includes salivary gland. Okay, then after the salivary gland we have gastric gland, liver, liver is there, pancreas, intestine. These are the digestive glands that are involved in the process of the digestion. So, uh, so if you come from a buccal cavity, the buccal cavity is made up of the lips in front, cheeks on sides. Internally, we are having the teeth. They are embedded in the socket. We call that one as tecodont, diphyodont, heterodont. Okay, and we are having two sets of teeth, milk tooth as well as the permanent tooth. They are called diphyodont and heterodont, having four different type of teeth as incisors, canines, premolars, and as well as the molars. So in case of dentition in human is 2123 by 2123, that is equal to 32, is referred to as the, so that's called as the dentition in case of the humans. Okay, in case of the adults, the dentition in case of the infants is 2120 by 2120. That's almost equal to 20. This is a dentition or the dental formula that we are going to observe in case of the infants. Okay, so inside the buccal cavity, we come across with the presence of the palate in the roof as well as floor is having the tongue. The tongue is attached to the frenulum. The tongue is attached to the frenulum. With the help of the frenulum, it is attached to the floor of the buccal cavity. The palatine is of two types, hard palate as well as the soft palate. Hard palate is present in the anterior position, soft palate is present in posterior position. Like this, if you see the dentation here, this roof is having the hard palate, and here we are having soft palate, and here we are having an hanging structure that is hanging, that's called as vulva, or we can call it as the ula. This is a hanging structure that is observed in case of our buccal cavity. This is the lips which is going to surround. Here we are having again the jaws, and here we come across with the presence of the tongue. The tongue is lined by the taste buds, okay, that is helpful in identification of different tastes. Okay, so once the vocal cavity opens inside into the pharynx. Pharynx is referred to as the common passage for the food as well as the air. Okay, pharynx is divided into three parts. This pharynx is divided into three parts. In the front, it continues as nasopharynx. In the front, it continues as nasopharynx. In the back, it continues as oropharynx. Nasopharynx continues internally as laryngopharynx. So nasopharynx, laryngopharynx, both of them, they belongs to the nasopharynx and laryngopharynx, both of them, they belongs to the respiratory system. Okay, oropharynx belongs to the esophagus. Esophagus is the long tube-like structure. This esophagus is going to continue as the stomach. The esophagus is also made up of the digestive layers, but it do not possess the mucosa since it is not involved in the process of secretion. The esophagus helps in the movement of the food by peristalsis mechanism. It is going to carry out the process of food transportation by peristalsis. Finally, it reaches the structure called as stomach. What is the shape of the stomach? If you observe the shape of the stomach is having an J or C-shaped structure or inverted J-shaped structure. This region is called as cardiac region. This region is called fundic region. This region is called body. Okay, and the last region is called as pyloric region. Since it is close to the heart, it's called cardiac region. Okay, here we have our two sphincters at the opening of this region. This is called as cardiac sphincter, and here we call it as pyloric sphincter. Internally, we are having elevations and depressions that we call it as rugae. So within that rugae, we come across with the presence of the digestive glands. That's the gastric glands. Okay, stomach is going to dilate whenever it is full, and it is going to relax when it is not completely filled. So at the junction of the stomach and the beginning of the small intestine, the C-shaped structure is called as duodenum. Duodenum continues as the jejunum. Jejunum continues as ileum. So duodenum is the region where the maximum digestion is going to happen. Jejunum is the region where maximum absorption of the food materials are observed. Whatever the waste products are there, that is transported through the ileum into the large intestine. This is also lined internally by an elevations and depressions. So these elevations are called as, this elevation is called as villi. We call this elevation as villi. The villi are having a number of columnar cells. The elevations are having the columnar cells. These columnar cells, if you observe each columnar cell, they are having fine hair-like structure. It's called as microvilli. This helps in absorption of nutrients into the villi. The villi is provided with a channel called as lacteal. This lacteal is having separate lymphatic system. It is having separate artery, separate vein. Through the lacteal, fats are absorbed. The yellow color fat droplets are absorbed through this lacteal. Okay. The glucose amino acids are absorbed into the arteries. Okay, so this is the structure of the small intestine. Next comes to the large intestine. The junction where the small intestine communicates with the large intestine, it's called as vermiform appendix. It opens into the cecum. Okay, so this is called as the cecum region. This is called as ascending colon. This is transverse colon. This is descending colon. This is sigmoid colon. This is rectum and this is anus. The junction where the ileum connects to the cecum is having vermiform appendix. This vermiform appendix is having inhabitant microflora which is not going to carry out any of the function. It is vestigial organ. Cecum continues as ascending colon, then into the transverse colon, then into descending colon, then into the sigmoid colon, and then into the rectum as well as the anus. This internally, the large intestine is lined by a numerous mucus secreting cells that helps in the movement of the undigested food material smoothly inside the large intestine. Anus is also provided with a sphincter. It's called anal sphincter. It's voluntary in function, which is under the control of the nervous system. Next comes to the glands. When it comes to the glands, we are having salivary glands, gastric glands, liver as well as intestinal glands are observed here. So salivary glands. Salivary glands are those glands which are involved in the process of secretion of the saliva. They are involved in the process of secretion of the saliva. This salivary gland is of three types: parotid gland, submaxillary gland or submandibular gland, and sublingual gland. Parotid gland is present in front of ears. Maxillary or mandibular are present in maxilla or mandible. Sublingual gland is present below the tongue. These are going to release the saliva through their duct into the mouth. The salivary gland, parotid gland, opens into buccal cavity through the Stenson duct. Okay, and this saliva is having salivary amylase, which helps in the digestion of the carbohydrates. It helps in the digestion of the carbohydrates, where starch is converted into maltose. Starch is converted into maltose in the presence of enzyme salivary amylase. It also having lingual lipase that helps in conversion of the oils into the triglycerides as well as the fatty acids. Okay, that's about salivary glands. Next is gastric gland. Next is called gastric gland. Gastric gland. Gastric glands are present in the pits of the ovada. Gastric glands are present in the layers or lining of the stomach. These gastric glands are basically involved in the secretion of the gastric juice. It contains different variety of cells like peptic cells, secretes HCl, oxantic cells, oxantic cells are going to, sorry, peptic cells are going to secrete pepsin. Oxantic cells secretes HCl. Argentafin secretes serotonin. Enterochromaffin cells, ECF cells are there. Okay. Along with that, we have a goblet cells. These goblet cells are going to secrete the mucus. Like this, we have a different varieties which are going to carry out the process of digestion with the help of the digestive glands. Next is liver. Liver is the largest gland which weighs about 1.5 kg. 1.5 kg weight. This liver is having a two lobe, superior lobe, inferior lobe. The liver is made up of a cells called as hepatocytes cells. It is lined by a capsule called as Glissen's capsule. The layer that is going to cover the liver is called as Glissen's capsule. It's made up of hepatocytes. Hepatocytes are going to secrete the bile juice, which is connected from one cell to another cell, and finally it is drained into the lumen. Finally, it is drained into the lumen. Okay, so the bile is helpful in the emulsification of fats. It is involved in emulsification of fats. Okay, this is also having the pigments like bilirubin and biliverdin pigment. Like this, these are the functions of the liver. Then comes to the pancreas. Pancreas is both exocrine and endocrine gland. It is having hormones like glucagon, insulin, somatostatin. This is secreted from the islets of Langerhans. Along with that, pancreatic juice. Pancreatic juice is there, which contains trypsin, chymotrypsin, carboxypeptidase enzymes present that is going to help in the process of digestion of the proteins. Okay, like this, we are having different variety of the enzyme. When you come to the intestinal, the duodenal gland, Brunner's glands are present in the duodenum. Is present in duodenum. The duodenum is going to play a major role in conversion of maltose, sucrose, lactose into the glucose, galactose as well as the fructose, and dipeptides are broken down into the amino acids that can be done with the help of these intestinal glands. So these are the glands that are present in our digestive system. When it comes to the process of the digestion, as we know that carbohydrate digestion occurs in mouth, absent in stomach, completed in intestine. Salivary amylase helps in breaking down of carbohydrates in mouth. In stomach, no digestive enzyme for carbohydrates. In case first pancreatic juice comes into the action, which helps in conversion of pancreatic amylase, conversion of starch into maltose. Okay, then intestinal juice comes into the action. Sucrase, maltase, lactase helps in conversion of respective and respective carbohydrates into their simpler monomers. Next, protein digestion. Protein digestion is not observed in mouth, absent in mouth, occurs in stomach, ends in here. First, the proteins are acted with the help of the enzyme, the pepsin. Pepsin is produced from it's a proteolytic enzyme. This pepsin produced from the peptic cells or the chief cells. These cells are going to secrete the enzyme pepsin. This pepsin has an autocatalytic activity. 30% of this is converted and remaining 70% is converted by the pepsin itself. This converts proteins into proteoses and peptones. When they enter into the intestine, enterokinase is the hormone. Okay, enterokinase is the hormone which activates the conversion of trypsinogen into trypsin. This trypsin convert procarboxypeptidase into carboxypeptidase, then procarboxide to chymotrypsinogen into the trypsinogen. Therefore, finally, the proteins in the presence of three enzymes, trypsinogen, chymotrypsinogen, carboxypeptidases, it's converted into proteins, peptones, as well as the peptides. So in presence of the pancreatic juice, the peptides are converted into dipeptides, peptidases. Dipeptides are converted into amino acids in the presence of dipeptidase. The amino acid is finally assimilated by the body. Next comes to the fat digestion. In case of fats, it reacts with bile to form emulsified fat. Then it is coated with a protein into a round bubble, which is called as micelle, which is absorbed by the lacteal. Okay, this is the process of digestion of proteins, carbohydrates, as well as fat. Nucleic acid also takes place. In case of our intestine, nucleotidases are involved in conversion of nucleotides and phosphate. Nucleosidases converts the sugar, phosphate, backbone. Okay, so these are the process of digestion that takes place in case of our body. Then is respiration quotient or the calorific value. The physiological value is 9.45, 5.4, 4. Okay, this is the calorific value. Physiological value is 9, 5, 4. Okay. So as we all know, so many varieties of disorders are there in these things: vomiting, jaundice, indigestion, gastritis, pharyngitis, laryngitis. So many different varieties of diseases has been given. That's already known to you people. It's not 5.4, it's 5.6. Okay, this is 4.1. That also, this is 4, 9 for 4. Okay, we have a different varieties of the deficiency. We can say it as deficiency disorders ಇರ್ಬಹುದು, kwashiorkor, marasmus, beriberi, night blindness, ಈ ತರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಡಿಸಾರ್ಡರ್ಸ್ನ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ? ಇನ್ಸಫಿಷಿಯಂಟ್ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನ ಗಮನಿಸ್ತೀವಿ. So this is the synopsis about the digestion and absorption of the food products. Next is breathing and exchange of gases. So breathing anta heldaga, it's also called as respiration. The process of exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Process of exchange of carbon dioxide as well as the oxygen is referred to as respiration. In order to carry out this, we require respiratory organs. The respiratory organs are going to carry out the process of respiration. We have a different variety of respiratory organs: lungs, gills, okay, body surface, buccopharyngeal cavity. Then so many other different varieties like lungs are there. But the orientation of the body is going to support only for that respective animal. It's not going to support any other animals. So respiratory organs are involved in the process of the respiration. Humans are having a separate set of respiratory system. It starts from nostrils, two openings that opens into nasal chamber. It's a cavity that's lined by nasal septum that opens into nasopharynx, a common passage. Nasopharynx opens into larynx. Larynx is also called as voice box. It's made up of 9 cartilage. Among them, the largest one is the thyroid cartilage, cricoid cartilage, arytenoid cartilage. Other different variety of cartilages are there. Okay. So next, this larynx continues as trachea. The trachea are provided with C-shaped cartilaginous rings. Incomplete C-shaped cartilaginous rings are observed in case of the trachea. Then trachea continues as bronchi. Bronchi divides to form right and left bronchi. And finally, it dissociates to form bronchioles that terminates in alveoli. Alveoli are the balloon-like structures which are covered by a thin layer of the epithelium. Okay, so these are the parts of the human respiratory system which is enclosed in a thoracic cavity. In the front we have a sternum, then at the back we have a vertebral column which is surrounded by the ribs. So within that rib cage, the lungs are completely safely present inside the body of an organism. Present in the body of an organism. That is about the respiratory system. explanation. Next comes to the process of breathing. The breathing process is carried out in case of internal respiration as well as external respiration. Internal respiration takes place in between. Internal respiration occurs. First, we'll know about external. External respiration is occurring in between lungs as well as outside atmosphere. Okay, atmosphere. Internal refers to exchange of gas takes place between blood and tissue. This is called as internal respiration. The process of breathing involves first breathing, mechanism of breathing, diffusion of oxygen and carbon dioxide, diffusion of then transport of oxygen and diffusion of and carbon dioxide at tissue. First breathing, then diffusion of oxygen and carbon dioxide at the lungs, ಆಮೇಲೆ transportation of the oxygen and carbon dioxide, ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ diffusion of oxygen and carbon dioxide at the tissues. So after that, the last step that's involved in the process of the respiration is transport of carbon dioxide. ಸೊ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆದ ಮೇಲೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ಏನನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡೋಗುತ್ತೆ transport of carbon dioxide. Breathing involves the inspiration and expiration, inhalation and the exhalation. Oxygen is taken in, carbon dioxide is released out. To carry out this phenomenon, there is a requirement of the diaphragmatic muscles, external intercostal muscles are all responsible in order to carry out this process. Okay, diffusion of oxygen and carbon dioxide. This takes place at the alveolar region with the help of the partial pressure of oxygen and carbon dioxide. In the atmosphere, it is 159. Okay, if we are going to hold the oxygen in the mouth, then it has its own level of partial pressure. The pressure exerted by the gases in a group, an individual gas in a group, is called as partial pressure. So the partial pressure, depending upon the pressure, the cells are going to uptake the respective type of the gases. Carbon dioxide has to be released out of the tissue. Oxygen has to be taken up by the tissue. Transport of oxygen. So in case of transport of oxygen, 97% is transported along with the RBC and just 3% it is transported transported in plasma. But when you come to carbon dioxide, in case of the carbon dioxide, 20 to 23%, 70%, 5 to 6%. So here the 70% it is transported as bicarbonates. 20 to 23%, it is transported as bicarbonates or carbonic acid in case of RBC. Then 5 to 6%, this is transported as, okay, in with the help of the plasma. It is transported in the plasma. A very minimal amount it is transported in plasma. Rest it is excreted out of the body into respiratory, into urinary system. Okay, this is the mechanism of contraction of the respiratory system. So after this, we are having tidal volume, residual volume, vital capacity. Okay, inspiratory reserve volume, expiratory reserve volume. We have a different sets of function total lung capacity, functional capacity. All these structures are going to be discussed. Okay, so next is regulation of respiratory system. The regulation is done at the medulla oblongata. We have a respiratory center. So in this case, we are having pneumotoxic area. If the carbon dioxide as well as the bicarbonate concentration increases in the blood, automatically it will send a signal to the pneumotoxic center to induce the process of respiration, inspiration, and it tries to elevates the oxygen level in the body and tries to brings down the toxicity level. Next comes to the disorders of respiratory system. We are having asthma, occupational respiratory disorders, rhinitis, or it's also called hay fever, SARS, COVID, laryngitis, bronchitis, lung cancer. Like this, we have a different variety of the symptoms that we are going to observe in case of the respiratory system in humans. So this is about the gist of the respiratory system. So briefly, I have discussed with the synopsis of both the respiration as well as the digestion. Let's continue with the questions. Vitamin B12 absorption from ileum, part of small intestine, requires what? Vitamin K, bile salts, bile pigment, Castle's intrinsic factor. For vitamin B12, so bile salts and bile pigments ಎರಡು ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. So vitamin A, D, E, K are the fat soluble vitamins. Okay, vitamin B12 absorption from ileum part of the small intestine require Castle's intrinsic factor. Absorption of glucose and galactose in small intestine occurs through the active process along with amino acids with the help of symporters. Rugae in stomach are the folds of mucosa. The GIT hormone that contracts the gallbladder and increases enzyme-rich secretion from pancreas is called as cholecystokinin. The function of oxyntic cell is disturbed. Then which of the following would be affected? Erythropoiesis, absorption of glucose, absorption of magnesium ion in small intestine, bile formation. So absorption of glucose in small intestine is disturbed. Choose the following statement. Mechanical digestion of food occurs in mouth. Yes. Liver cells do not produce any enzyme. Secretin is an enzyme that is released in the lumen of small intestine by enterocytes. Chylomicrons are formed in the lumen of the small intestine. S. Mechanical digestion of food occurs in stomach, or it occurs in mouth. Okay, the right answer is D. Among the following enzymes secreted by pancreas, among the following enzymes secreted by pancreas is sucrase, maltase, amylase, nucleopeptidase. Amylase. Match the column 1 with respect to the different parts of the digestive system and absorbed substances. Large, small, stomach, mouth. In the mouth, nitroglycerin and aspirin drug is absorbed. In stomach, amino acid, glycerol, fatty acid, fructose, and glucose are absorbed. In stomach, alcohol, water, and glucose is absorbed. In large intestine, water, mineral, and some drugs are absorbed. So the right option for this is A to 4, B to 3, C to 2, and D to 1. Fourth one. The ejection of feces in human through the anal opening is voluntary process and is peristaltic movement. The major components of food are all of these. In which type of dentition each tooth in the buccal cavity is embedded in a socket of jawbone? It's called as decodont. The common passage of food and air is pharynx. All of the following are the parts of large intestine except cecum, colon, ileum, and rectum. It's ileum. Esophagus opens, okay, it opens in which part of stomach? Esophagus opens into cardiac part. How many pairs of salivary glands are there? 3 pairs. Which gland is both exocrine and endocrine? It's called as pancreas. Gleason capsule is related to liver. The endocrine part of pancreas secretes insulin, glucagon, both 1 and 2. Bile is stored and concentrated in liver. Which of the following is present in abdominal cavity just below diaphragm? This is the diaphragm just below the abdominal cavity. Here we have liver. Here we have stomach. Here we have the pancreas. And here intestine. Which of the following organ is present in abdominal cavity just below the diaphragm? It's liver. Which is the largest gland of human body? It's once again liver. The wall of alimentary canal from esophagus to rectum. Serosa, muscularis, mucosa, submucosa, and mucosa. 4 layers. Okay, next one. 4 layers. Major functions of buccal cavity is or are mastification of food, facilitation of swallowing, help in secretion of glucagon. It will not help in secretion of glucagon. Mastication and swallowing is done. The antibacterial enzyme present in saliva that prevent infection is lysosome. HCl secreting cells present in stomach are peptic cells, oxyntic cells. Okay, again repetition of peptic cells, mucous neck cells, oxyntic cells. Which enzyme gets activated by HCl secreted from gastric gland? Pepsinogen. All of the following juices contain enzyme except bile juice, it doesn't contain any of the enzyme. Select the correct match. Kwashiorkor patient it advised especially to consume more meat, lentils, milk and eggs in diet because it contains rich in proteins. Marasmus usually observed in children in the age group of 1 to 5 years. Yes, belly will be bulged, hands and legs will be stubby. Scurvy prevalent in sub-Africa. Wherever they will take for staple food diet is polished rice that's rich in ascorbic acid. Anemia is caused by the deficiency of riboflavin and thiamine. So the correct match here is option A. Kwashiorkor is disease, protein deficiency, advised to consume more meat, lentils, milk, egg in their diet. Select the correct option that represents the enzyme composition of Succus entericus. Intestinal enzyme is also called as Sucre entericus ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Intestinal ಇರುವಂತಹ enzyme enterokinase nucleosidases, dipeptidases, lactase. Opening of duct from union of common bile duct. This is common hepatopancreatic ducts. The opening become common and they are going to common bile duct and main pancreatic duct into duodenum is guarded by. They are saying here common bile duct and main pancreatic duct that opens into duodenum is guarded by sphincter of Boyden. Sphincter of Oddi is present at the opening of bile. Choose the correct option which shows lung conditions in emphysema and asthma. Inflammation of bronchioles increase respiratory surface. Inflammation of bronchioles decrease respiratory surface. Increase respiratory surface, increase number of bronchioles. Decrease respiratory surface, inflammation of bronchioles. In case of emphysema, the respiratory surface is reduced. Okay, so emphysema is characterized by the inflammation of the bronchioles and asthma is decreased respiratory surface. Option B is the right answer for this question. Match the column 1 with respect to the column 2. Values. Residual volume. So residual volume is one such phenomenon that is having always some amount of air will be present in the some amount of air will be always present in the lung itself. So residual volume is of about 1000 to 1200 ml. Expiratory reserve volume is of about 1000 to 1100 ml. Inspiratory reserve volume, then tidal volume. The tidal volume is always 500 ml, 5000 to 6000 ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. This is also same. Then this will be same. A to 1, B to 2 option, first one. Choose the odd one with respect to the disorders of respiratory system. Pernicious anemia, silicosis, working in silicon industry, asbestosis, working in asbestos industry, asthma, wheezing. So pernicious anemia is caused due to deficiency of the hemoglobin. This is not related to the respiratory system. Select the correct option with respect to the transport of respiratory gases through the blood and its component. Plasma as well as RBC transport both oxygen, carbon dioxide. WBC as well as RBC, option B is not applicable. Plasma transport carbon monoxide, RBC transport oxygen only, wrong. WBC option A is right. During normal expiration in human, diaphragm contract. ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಥೊರಾಸಿಕ್ ಕ್ಯಾವಿಟಿ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಇಂಟರ್ಕಾಸ್ಟಲ್ ಮಸಲ್ಸ್ ರಿಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. After the completion of normal expiration, ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಗಾಳಿ ಬಿಟ್ಟ ಮೇಲೆ, the volume of air that is left in lung is called as residual volume. Select the current event occurring in the pulmonar ಅಥವಾ alveolar level. Carbon dioxide moves into pulmonary capillary from alveoli. Chlorine moves out of RBC and then enters into it. Bicarbonate enters into it. Haldane effect does not take place. The partial pressure of oxygen at alveoli is 45 mm. Bed capillary. Diffusion of oxygen from lung takes place to the pulmonary. Carbon dioxide moves into pulmonary capillary for exchange of gas from the alveoli. Sound box in humans is called as larynx. Vital capacity of adult is of around vital capacity of an adult. It is the sum of tidal volume, expiratory reserve volume, inspiratory reserve volume. ಓಕೆ, ಮೂರನ್ನು ಸಮ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟಾಗತ್ತೆ? It is almost 4600 ml. Which of the following structure are actively responsible for inspiration? Diaphragm exclusively, internal intercostal muscles and diaphragm, abdominal muscles, external intercostal muscles and diaphragm. External intercostal muscles and diaphragm. Process of oxidation of glucose during which carbon dioxide, water, energy are produced is known as cellular respiration. At which level of thoracic vertebrae does the tract divide? Almost at the 5th thoracic vertebrae. Trachea divides into right and left bronchi, primary bronchi. Which membrane covers the lung and provides the protection? Pericardium, renal corpuscle, pleura, epineurium. It's pleura. Where are lungs situated in abdominal in humans? Abdomen, coelomic, thoracic, pleural. It's located in thoracic cavity. The volume of air remaining in lungs even after forceful expiration. The volume of air that is left even after forceful expiration. It is called as expiratory reserve volume. No. It is tidal volume. Allah, it's a residual volume. Which is the main site of human respiratory system where exchange of gas occurs? Alveoli. Partial pressure for oxygen and carbon dioxide is represented as PO2 and PCO2. What will be the PCO2 and PO2 in atmospheric air as compared to the alveoli? PCO2 is low, PO2 is high. What is the value of PCO2 in the atmospheric air? In the atmospheric air, it is just alveoli and tissues respectively. Tissue ನಲ್ಲಿ 45 ಇರುತ್ತೆ, alveoli ನಲ್ಲಿ 40 ಇರುತ್ತೆ, atmospheral 0.3 ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Oxygen binds with the hemoglobin of RBC to form oxyhemoglobin. Which factors are going to affect the dissociation of oxygen from hemoglobin? pH, PO2, PCO2, temperature. High percentage of carbon dioxide is transported in dissolved form as compared to oxygen because oxygen has high solubility in plasma, carbon dioxide has high solubility in plasma, carbon dioxide is high in blood than O2, has low solubility in plasma. Sorry, it has high solubility in plasma. Which factor in tissue favors the formation of bicarbonate ion as well as H plus ions in the blood? High oxygen. Structures not supported by incomplete cartilaginous rings is terminal bronchioles. Animals which have a network of tracheal tubes transport atmospheric air within the body are insects. In humans, thoracic chamber is formed dorsally by sternum, ventrally by vertebral column. Dorsally ಅಂದರೆ ಹಿಂಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ, vertebral column, ventrally by sternum ಮುಂಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ. Option 2. Nearly dash percentage of carbon dioxide is transported by RBC. Whereas dash percentage is carbonate as bicarbonate ion. 20 to 25% by RBC, 70% transported as bicarbonate. A large portion of oxygen is left unused in human blood even after uptake by body tissue. The oxygen help in releasing more oxygen to epithelial tissue, act as a reserve during muscular exercise, raises carbon dioxide of blood to 75 mm of Hg is enough to keep oxyhemoglobin saturation at 96%. Even if large portion of oxygen is left unused in the human body, even after uptake by the body tissue, then this oxygen acts as a reserve during the exercises. Which of the following A to D changes usually tend to occur in plain dwellers when they move to a high altitude? Increased breathing rate. Yes. RBC production, because it results in a condition called altitude sickness. It results in a condition called altitude sickness. So option A and B. What is vital capacity of our lung? The total capacity of lung minus residual volume, inspiratory reserve volume plus tidal volume. Inspiratory reserve volume, inspiratory reserve volume, okay, plus expiratory reserve volume is the vital capacity. The majority of carbon dioxide produced by body cells is transported to the lungs. By body cells is transported to the lungs as the bicarbonates. Okay, lungs are enclosed in pleural membrane. Pitch of the voice is lower in female than in males, as vocal cords of men are. Pitch of voice is lower in males. In males, the pitch is very high because the vocal cords are very thin and longer. Okay, so these are the questions regarding to the digestion and respiration chapter. So till now we have discussed with the questions regarding to the digestion as well as breathing and exchange of gases. In the next class, we'll look into the questions of other chapters. Okay, so we'll wind up here itself.